Welcome to another episode of Slay with me, Leigh M. Clark. I am the founder and curator of a series called Slay the USA, where we feature powerful women around the US who are leaving their mark. And they all are authentic, vulnerable storytellers who are collaborative in spirit because they've all joined these collectives. Coming to us from Central Florida, specifically over in the Orlando area of Apopka, we have Rinat Halon Neal. She is a luxury photographer. Not only does she do branding and lifestyle, her studio, you guys, is like so impressive and incredible and very different. So she has a full space that has an outdoor like lake area for outdoor photos. She has a full available light studio, which for people who are non-industry, that means it's actual sunlight lit French door studio. So everything is what's called available light, the light that actually is sourced from the sky, but still indoors. So Florida sweaty, that's a wonderful thing. And then the full service studio. She even does some wild things like equestrian photo shoots, and so on and so forth. But 28 plus years in business, obviously very well known and loved in the industry and in her community. We actually have a friend in common, one of the best known photographers, I would say nationwide, if not the world. Megan DePiro, did
Yep.
not know we had her in common, and yet she was one of Renat's mentors. So I love that. Love that. Thank
She's
you for being so
amazing.
amazing. So today we're going to play 10 Ways to Slay. 5 questions for you, 5 questions for me. And we've both somewhat prepped each other. So that's way it's not too much off the cuff, but I will go first. What is a moment that defined you?
So I was thinking about that there's not a moment, there are so many moments, so I was like, well, I don't know, like finding this beautiful studio space, renting it. It was a storage unit, purchasing it this past May, things like that. But what I end up always going to is the fact that in college, this is how back it goes. Before college, I was the one that was not good in math, couldn't do math, never, would never pass math classes. And in college, I finally had the correct mentor. And sure enough, I'm the one who aced the math course to the point where I didn't even need to take the finals. They sent me away. So, redefining our story, that was definitely a moment that defined me.
That's
So,
amazing.
let me ask you a question. So, what does slaying look like for you in this current chapter of your life? And has that definition evolved over time?
Yeah, great question. And absolutely, like literally as of last week, this is now my full-time job and my entire mission. It's the first time I really feel like my purpose and profession are fully aligned. For 20 plus years, slaying meant to me like keeping the safe corporate job and advancing to like high levels like Microsoft and all these like name-worthy things. But I also had ended up having to have a charity project on the side because I felt like there had to be more to me than just being in tech sales. Not that that's not enough, but for me, I wanted to change the world kind of thing. And I was always scared to take the leap of doing anything full time. And this project kind of happened organically as things that you're supposed to do. When your calling approaches you, it won't be hard. It's just going to happen and it's going to unfold even when you're not ready for it, which was true of the series. So the question being, how am I slaying in my current life? I finally have full autonomy and ownership of my life. I am my boss. I report to you guys. You are all my bosses. But no, I'm my purpose and profession are aligned. With Kindly, the charity I ran for over a decade, it was always about people being seen, valued, and heard. And now here I am in this project. It's the same thing, right? People being seen, valued, and heard, and creating a platform for people's stories and people to really matter and their voices to matter. So I'm really proud of that, to be able to say that like now I'm taking the leap and it doesn't feel as terrifying as I spent 20 plus years thinking it would.
Uh,
Um, but you know better than me because you've been in the scary world of entrepreneurship for like almost 30 years. So
you just
it's
keep
all.
going. You keep going.
What's one thing you're most proud of?
Um, I think working with integrity is my biggest thing. So whatever we do always has in the studio, it has to align with my values. I said no to projects before that did not align with my values, even though they were great financially or great recognition. But yeah, we're very, very value focused, and also that we support. a lot in our community. There's a lot of causes, many that we support in our community. So very, very proud of that.
As
Uh,
you should be, as you should be. You've built something so incredible. And I personally think generosity of spirit is the highest human experience. So when you're giving just because it feels good to give, that's the space I think people need to be in. So I love that that's a huge part of who you are.
yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So, what's a belief or a piece of advice that you once swore by, but later you realized was holding you back?
I think, and I hate to say this, sounds so cynical and jaded, it's awful, but like, not everyone deserves your kindness. And I
Mm,
hate to say that I'm the kindness lady. I hate to say that. Because I really did. I want to change the world with my heart, and I believe that everybody does deserve kindness generally. But the energy that you spend on people who are negative, who will take your energy down, it's not worth it. There's an energetic exchange that happens in everything you do. And yes, everyone deserves kindness, but what are you exchanging energetically for that kindness? And are you people pleasing or are you being kind? Because being clear is being kind. So nice doesn't fit. Nice is manipulative, so is people pleasing, both not being authentic. Clear
mm,
is kind and giving generously with your spirit. And that's why I've redirected where I'm giving my energy. I was just saying on an earlier podcast that we're going to start a Slave Foundation and create grants for women in business because that's really where
wonderful.
my heart is. That's what who I'm focused on and where I want to raise the room. But I found out, sadly, I mean, through some life experience, that there are people out there who really do want to hurt someone or get one over. Doesn't mean you have to wish ill will. There's a chapter in the book Living Kindly, my first book, from one of the authors that I featured, and she said to her, kindness means do no harm.
Mm,
So you don't have to improve the situation, ergo, you don't have to give anybody kindness, but you don't make it worse. You don't have to like make their situation worse. Leaving it alone is considered kind, and I can live with that. And that's kind of my stance has certainly changed over the years because before I was like, no, everyone deserves kindness. Not everyone
that's
deserves.
funny because that was a really tough question. I was actually debating if to ask you that. And then I was thinking, what if somebody asked me that? And I would actually have given the same answer you just gave. Isn't
Really?
that wild?
It
Yeah.
is. It's good to know. And again, that's like breaks my heart to say it because I really never wanted that to be true. But I found out like firsthand. Yeah, anybody who knows my backstory, I found out firsthand not everybody deserves your kindness, but that's okay. Yeah. And also if you watch enough forensic files, you'll also find out that not everybody deserves your kindness. Another way to do it. I've been watching a lot of forensic files. Okay, there's some real evil efforts out there. So
I tell you what,
I tell you.
absolutely.
We talked a little, I kind of talked about it, but tell me, what do you love most about the space that you're in? Both your actual space and like the space you're in professionally.
Mm. Well, I absolutely love this space. I mean, you guys are seeing a little bit, and this is
Yay.
actually part of the Available Light studio back there. I'm sitting in my office. This place was a storage unit. I walked in here and said, no, no, no. And it literally just became my vision. And seeing people come here and they say they feel like they're in a spa, like it's a getaway. It's such a beautiful oasis. So it puts my clients in a wonderful state of mind when they're being photographed and they enjoy it so much. So I love that. In terms of for me being in business for so long, I mean, I mean, photography for crying out loud, you know, I've been doing it for 28 years. It's like I can absolutely tell you there are quite a few times that I wanted to quit and go do something possibly easier. But it was made very clear to me that it is my mission and why I was put on this earth is to show people that they're beautiful, one way or the other, professionally or you know, personally. So the headspace that I'm in now, after years of learning and growing, and I come from humble backgrounds too. So, and there were no entrepreneurs in my family to or in my immediate space, you know, to look up to. So I am very grateful at this point for where I'm at mentally as well. And I do find that when I give above and beyond what's expected, again, not to people who will use you,
Yes.
But to the people who are absolutely worth it, it always just energetically comes back tenfold. So yeah,
100%. And I feel that. I feel the multiplicity of good people for sure.
absolutely. Um, my question for you is, when life knocked you down, what's your go-to way to get back up swinging and looking fabulous doing it like you always do?
I don't know if I always look fabulous, so I'll be blunt here. The thing that stopped me from being incredibly kind was I was in a very short-term relationship with a guy who ended up breaking my nose in 6 places, and I was very public about this because it happened among the kindly years, and I wasn't gonna just show the highlight reel to the world. So how do I handle things when they go south? I'm honest, I'm public. I shared my IVF with the world. I shared getting punched in the face with the world. And I remember at the time people are like, oh, she's doing this for attention. I was like, listen, I get attention for taking pizzas to the fire department. Like, I don't need the attention on my bad choice of like partner. Like, that's not you guys. Like, that's not, I don't want to show you me with no makeup looking like Owen Wilson on a bad day. Like, it's not my thing. But I felt like, who was I to be disingenuine? And it was all because of this series. So I wouldn't have normally announced my like broken nose. The guy broke my nose a week before the first brunch.
Oh,
Okay. So here I just signed all these women up to slay Southwest Florida with me, and I literally got slain. And I called my agent and I was like, what do I do? Like, cancel it or what? And then I realized I'm asking all these women to come and share their stories vulnerably and authentically. Who am I to not be truthful about what's going on? So I said, everybody wear a hat. Anybody who sees the brunch photos, you'll see everybody's wearing a hat. Said everybody wear a hat, ask no questions. And it was at that event that I, shared what had happened. And there were so many women who said it happened to me. And women I was so impressed by that it happened to them, it happened to her, it happened to her sister. It was still happening to one, who's finally moved on and now is super happy, which is great. And that's the day I decided to go and speak publicly and help other women. And I love to use pain for power. Man, you cannot knock me down. I will turn that around and I will use it to save lives. And so that's what I did. I spoke out about domestic violence. I actually helped women in both Canada and Israel through a foundation because Israel has the highest rate of domestic violence globally.
mm,
And spoke out for them, was part of some campaigns. Now, it's a part of my story. It doesn't define me. I don't lead with that and I don't really discuss it often. But life certainly has taken me to my knees. When I'm taken to my knees, I just pray. But also I'm okay with repurposing pain for power. I'm okay with letting people in on the real ordeal. And for me, that's how I find peace. When I let it go and I'm not ashamed of what happened to me, I retain my power. I
that's
retain.
amazing. I mean, that's good for you for doing that, because I think in this day and age, especially, and I can say as a photographer, when we're all, are showing our perfect side, like our perfect face, right, on social media, and everybody thinks, oh, she's got it all perfect. I think it's so powerful that you're doing that, and thank you. Certainly something I do want to say, emphasize. Totally agree with that. That is something I do as well and done for years. It's just, isn't it funny how it surprises people when they hear that? Because they look at us and they're like, look, strong women. How could it be that it happened to you?
Correct.
But
And I went on, I mean, even within my corporate job, people were like, uh, I'm not going to talk bad about the big corporation, but they weren't a fan of it. And I was like, listen, it is not the weak women that get hit. They're compliant. It's the one
right,
with the mouth on them.
right.
That one. It's the one that's
Absolutely.
not going to
Yes.
take your shit. That's the
Yes.
one that's going to get knocked out. Honestly. And so people think this happens to weak women. False. Weak women don't get beat. They listen. I'm not
Ex-
gonna, you're not.
They don't get to the point where they get beat because they're quiet.
Correct.
I mean, I'm sorry
They're
I'm saying it with a
compliant. They're
smile,
weak.
but
They're not gonna piss you off. Like I'm also,
exactly.
I'm from New York and like I'm gonna stand my ground. I've never been physically aggressive towards anyone. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It looks like animals in the wild to me. I just don't get, it's just not for, I'm too cerebral for that. So it really caught me off guard. But yeah, I think it's important that we speak out. And I think it's important to your point that we normalize this happens to powerful women more often than it happens to ones you would consider weak. And I had no problem. I took my narrative all the way to LinkedIn and F what anybody thought of me. That's when I really unleashed my I don't give an F era because I was like, if you can't see the power and strength it takes for me to put myself out there right now, you're not my people. So let life filter them out. You can
There you go.
go in the
And it
goodbye
does.
fire. As
I
it does,
love that.
and
And
love
it
that,
does.
and love that rejection is redirection. And if you really go through something and allow people in, you will see very quickly who's got your back for real.
I
Yep.
do want to say before you ask me the next question, because this has to do with it,
Yeah.
um the next book that I'm working on currently, that I'm writing after what we're doing, obviously, it does talk about my childhood memories, it being emotionally abused by a step parent. And it's something that I'm writing about because I realize now at my age, dealing with narcissist parent is something that so many people do, and my hopes is to help people who don't understand even what's happening, like I didn't, so be able to get out of it. So I'm sharing stories that are not easy, you
Not
know
easy, and not
but
easy. Anybody who thinks somebody's going to do that for attention, man, you got it all
oh,
wrong. Got it all wrong. And I
that's
get it. Listen, you cannot be out in the world without being judged. If you want to be seen, you will be judged. And it's not always going to be favorably. And that's
yep.
just what it is. But I think it takes courage to share that stuff. And there is some woman in the dark somewhere who's going to read your book and they're going to feel a light and they're going to see a path. And if that makes me cringe, I'll be cringe all goddamn day, guys. I don't care. If I'm going to save the life out there, if some woman has the strength to leave, if some woman doesn't feel alone, screw you guys.
Exactly.
And I mean that
Yeah. Yep.
lovingly. Love you mean it, but no. What advice would you give a young entrepreneur?
Uh, I think I was thinking about that. So the biggest thing is, that saying that you are the average of the five people that you hang out
Yes.
with, something like that. Yeah. See who
Yeah.
you're hanging out with. Like, if you don't have people around you who do what you want to do or can be an inspiration for you, you need to find a way to surround yourself with those people. Not because the people that are around you are bad, not in any way, shape, or form. That's not my point. But they have no idea how to help you lift up, especially past fear. There's a ton of fear as an entrepreneur that you got to deal with. And you have to get past, or I should say, you have to get through, because it's not going to go away. So you have to get through it and just keep moving forward. And people who are not on the same journey, typically, because they love you and want to protect you, kind of pull you down just to make sure
Mhm.
that you don't try it, don't do it, could be really bad. So I would say surround yourself with the right people, pay for the right mentor. That's just gonna
Yes.
change everything for you. Absolutely change.
Yes, I
Yes.
just did an episode with Dee Dee DeWine where we're saying the same thing. Like sometimes you have to invest in yourself. It's not investing in the other person, it's investing in you. And also, not every opportunity is a scam.
Mm.
People who think that never succeed. You have to be discerning, evaluate, know, trust your gut, trust your intuition, but don't walk away from anything that feels scary. Like that's all. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more on all of those things. And I really do. I think it's impossible. It's important that we insulate ourselves from all of that. For sure. I
Yeah,
think
it takes a lot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, 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 you go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say it takes a lot to stay in the mindset and focused as an entrepreneur. So, yes, definitely keep
And
yourself
there's
focused.
this girl I talk about all the time in Boston, and she was one of the greatest examples. By the way, guys, I'm like 46 years old. My parents don't know I quit my corporate job. They don't know. Because of that, and they love me and they're protecting me and all the things, but I can't hear the fear right now. I'm not in a place where I can hear that. And this lesson comes from a young girl, Sarah Noel Smith. She's first generation American. Her parents worked really hard for opportunity. She studied to be a nurse and she wants to be a content creator, and her parents are not on board. And they are now, I think, maybe, I don't know. But she said to me something that stuck with me. And she said, I can't, she didn't give up her dream, she gave up her parents for a little bit. And she said, I cannot listen to the noise that says I can't because I'm trying to fight that within. And so I can't hear that outside of it. And like you said, around the five people around you, they say if the circle around you doesn't inspire you, you have a cage, not a circle.
Oh,
I believe that
absolutely.
to be true.
That
And you
is
do,
so true.
you have to filter out the negativity. To your point, people don't always understand. It's not the same blueprint for them. They would fail. That's why they're projecting it because they would. They don't have what it takes, and that's okay. It doesn't, it's not for everyone. I mean, it's not for everyone. It's
Yeah.
not fun to have that, but some people to your point, like you said it earlier, it was your calling. Like every time you thought you were going to fail, God, universe, higher spirit, we're calling him Gus now, whatever, brought you to the fact that it's not time yet. It's not time yet. And 28 years later, it's not time, right?
Yeah, it's never going to be time for me, but I have to quit. This is it for me. Let me ask you one more question here. So, if you could go back and give your younger self one bold, unapologetic piece of advice, what would it be?
It would be worry more about whether or not you like them than whether or not they like you. I
Mm.
think that that's the most important because I spent a lot of years wanting people to like me and wanting to make people happy. I thought I could make the whole world happy. I wanted to be liked. And I had to ask myself, do I really like these people or do I want them to like me? Like there's that exchange. I think it happens in your 30s and 40s or whatever. Hopefully, if you have a quantum leap or some kind of existential crisis in your early 20s, you can get there earlier. But you get to a point where it's like I was saying this the other day. I have a wonderful partner now, like the best I could have imagined because I fought for that. But
Mm.
I used to think way more about my career choices than my partnership choice. I mean, I married someone that I really don't even like enjoy as a human, but he liked me and I liked that he liked me. And I liked that he liked me. And then, what he really liked, he didn't even like me. He liked what I did for him. And that was it. And
Exactly.
then when Kindly started and all that, he wasn't a fan. He never read my HuffPost articles. He'd never watched my TED Talk. He didn't care. He wasn't a fan because I only cared about whether or not he liked me. Well, he liked me because I was into him. I always joke. The thing I had in common with my ex is we were both really into him. That's
That's a
it.
good one.
That's
I
it.
love that.
Like literally, like that's what we had in common. And I think a lot of young girls too. It's changed now thanks to the new kids on the block coming up with this next generation of like people who are just a little more self-actualized, I'll put it that way. But we were taught the older generation is like you hitch your wagon to the man's dreams and you just help him get there. And that's not, yeah. And you also can't, make somebody else responsible for your happiness. Like you can't. Like I can't say, oh well, because he's not succeeding, I'm not happy. But yeah, I have a question for you. What's one life adventure you will never forget?
So I will be writing a book one day about my life because I mean there's like so many of these that I'm not sure what to answer here. I was trying to narrow it down. Like, would it be photographing in the basement of the Kremlin, Russian models, or
Being on the Israeli version of Saved by the Bell. I don't
yeah,
know,
okay,
my
being on the I wasn't even gonna
favorite.
I wasn't even gonna talk about yes, I was a child star, so on TV, so that was definitely something that I'll never forget. Or but I don't know why this came to me. So my last real job before I started my business was I was the in-house photographer for the Walt Disney Imagineer group. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was I had no idea when I got the job how lucky I was. They get like 60,000 resumes a year to be part of that group. But it was my final day and it was right before Christmas, and I always had to photograph what we were working on, our projects, before and after hours when the park was closed. So it was nighttime. It's probably 8 or 9 p.m. and I was photographing working in one of the exhibits and with the art director. And when we were done, that was it. It was my last job for working for Disney. So when we were done, the art director said to me, "Have you ever been at Disney on in the Magic Kingdom, which where we were? Have you ever been through the Magic Kingdom at nighttime?" And I said no. And he took me. It was like the best, parting gift from Disney. He took me in the golf cart and we drove through the Magic Kingdom streets that were all decorated for Christmas at night. And it was like almost, I mean, it was like it was for me. I was
Magic.
there, like the Magic Kingdom was there for me. It was truly a magical moment.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And the Orlandoites will be very proud of you that the magical moment happened at Disney because that's super on brand for Orlando.
Exactly. I was like, well, I can talk about Russia. I can talk about, hanging in the window cleaner basket in Tel Aviv and photographing from the towers, the photographing the city. But I think this one really applies to Orlando, no doubt.
That's so cool. The behind the scenes. I think you
Yes.
have one more for me and then I have a bonus one for you.
All right. What is one sleigh moment in your career that still makes you smile? every time you think about it.
So I worked for Salesforce for a number of years. Love Salesforce. Big shout out. My office was in Bryant Park. Anyone familiar with New York? It's like right past like Empire State Building area, a little bit further north. And I was working in the nonprofit sector, again, running kindly, but also working in tech, marketing tech to be specific. And I hosted an executive roundtable for some of the top charities in the world, like Charity Water, Rain, Global Citizen, etc. At the top of the former MetLife building, which is now the Salesforce building, they had a 360-degree view of all of the bridges from New York to Jersey. You could see Brooklyn,
Wow.
everything. And here I am teaching all of these nonprofits how they can leverage influencers to help spread their message. And it was like just like a real slay moment, like who am I? Not only am I here, right, looking at this, but I'm helping people help people. Like it couldn't be more wonderful than that. And aside from that is just knowing through kindly that no matter what happened to me, people would know how to honor me. Like if
Mm.
something happened to me tomorrow, people will do acts of kindness in my honor. Hands down, know what's going to happen. That's who I am. That's a real big slay moment when you can say, I've lived in a way that I'm living my legacy and people would know what I stand for. And that didn't come without resistance from the world. That came with a lot of heart. So, so bonus question to you because I already know the answer, but I think it's the cutest story. Tell me about the camera in the frame behind you.
Oh, this
Yes.
right there.
Yes.
So, so I got the frame, or no, I got the camera itself in the final. I used to photograph events. I photographed events and weddings for 18 years out of my career, and the final event that I photographed, that camera was the centerpiece. Like it was the centerpiece on the tables, and I asked if I could grab one at the end. They said sure. So I took it back with me, and I thought it would be so cute as a nightlight. And my dad was visiting, and I said, "Could you turn this into a nightlight?" Because he was an electrical engineer, and he said, "Sure, yeah, I can. Let me. I'm going to take it with me, and I'll send it back to you as a nightlight." And sure enough, he did. He sent it back to me as a nightlight, and I always have frames hanging around, so I got this frame and put it up there, and that's the studio's nightlight. At night, it does light up. And my father passed away this past May, and I did get to see the studio, which I'm very grateful for. But this every morning when I walk in and the nightlight is still on, from night, it's like I'm saying good morning to my dad, and I love that.
I love that. No, it's such a special story. And speaking of stories, Renat is featured in Slaying Orlando, which is coming out late 2025. She's got such a cool story. Like I don't want to spoiler alert, but like talk about joint custody. She lived between America and Israel, like being traded back and forth and ended up even going to the Israeli army at 18 by choice, not by obligation, although it's obligatory over there. She could still have done the lazy American thing. She didn't do that thing. So like when she says she has a book in her, believe that. But definitely pick up the book, read the chapter, and thank you again, Renat, for being on and being part of Slay the USA. You're so amazing, and I'm so, so grateful to know you.
Leigh, thank you. I appreciate you so much in putting this together. It's going to be an incredible book, and I'm starting to learn about the other women that are part of this book, and it's just going to be an unbelievable book. I'm super excited.
Can't wait. Thanks again.
Uh-huh.